Today's location was an active golf course as recently as 2019. After its purchase by the Little Traverse Conservancy, the property was renamed the Off-Field Family Viewlands Working Forest Reserve. With trails that were formerly for golf carts, we're sure to see some interesting sights, so let's go take a look. The big story with locations like this in the Highlands is the rewilding process that's taking place and will take place over a number of years. So for example, right here is part of the fairway or the hole, and recently they did a burn to it to take away the grasses that were here. Maybe they were non-native grasses, but so that they could prepare the soil to plant prairie grasses and wildflowers. So over time, even in a matter of months, this area may look completely different. Right now, however, it looks like an alien landscape, which is kind of cool, I think. And with the clouds behind it and the sun, there's all sorts of different shots I can get here. A couple decades ago, when I was starting out with infrared photography, this is the type of tree that I would focus on. Dead trees, barren wasteland, tree out in the foreground, the bark all ripped up and shredded, barren branches, and look at that sky behind it. So I'm not saying that this is today's tom tree, I'm just saying this is the type of tree I used to be going after. So follow along, let's see if we can find some other trees, and maybe there's another one that's a better tom tree for today. One of the things that you'll notice when you come out here is how hilly it is, but the change of terrain provides beautiful views. And although this may look a little sketchy right now, just wait, just give it a year or two, and that's going to be full of wildflowers, prairie grasses. It's going to look really stunning. But in the meantime, if you do come out here, make sure you pack good shoes, because you're going to need them to go up and down some really steep hills. So I spoke before about areas like this where they've done some burning and now are planting, and you can see by the sign that they've planted some trees. And if you look really carefully in the trenches that they kind of dug through, there's little trees planted all along the lines. So another thing is to, like the sign says, keep off from it, because you don't want to wreck the new plants. But it also makes for interesting subject matter for photography, especially infrared photography, because this type of scene, this alien-looking landscape, is going to look really eerie with infrared. So I'm going to take some pictures and you'll see what I mean. I mean, does it get any better than this? Up on a hilltop, lone tree, beautiful cloud formation behind it, blue sky, look at that sun come out, just light up the landscape. This is actually what I look for. Look at the clouds over here. Have I mentioned I like clouds in the sky, just not overcast? So for me, this is ideal. And this is what I was talking about with different tom trees. Now this could be today's tom tree just because it's by itself over there. Not gnarled, but solitary. One thing I'm going to try and not include in the shot is the golf cart pathway right behind the trees. So I may move back a little bit. Maybe I'm going to kneel down. We'll see what I can do to frame that up. And this is what it's all about. This view right here, and restoring it to what it once was. so that everybody can enjoy it and just stand here and take it all in. You know, I've been talking about solitary trees, but when you're here, do note all the old trees that line the winding trails. They come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. I really like this view because you have the crisscrossing lines of the greenery, the trees in the background, the ferns in the foreground, and they're crisscrossing the width of the shot. You also have the sky above with the gorgeous clouds and some trees poking out. But if you look in the far distance, there's that split rail fence. And for me, that just takes me out of the shot because I just want to see nature. So I'm going to kneel down just a little bit to reframe my shot, and then all you see is nature. I've spoken a lot in previous videos about offsetting pathways to create interesting leading lines on a diagonal, but in some cases it works to center your image, your subject of interest. Like in this case, because you have this burned area in the foreground that covers so much territory, and then there's the opening between the trees right in the center. This makes for an interesting shot in itself because it adds to the story of this location. So sometimes you can break the rules, bend the rules, as long as it enhances the image and adds to the story. In contrast to the open fairways and burn areas, you have these wonderful little wooded walks with towering trees running alongside them. I told you there were solitary trees all over this park. Not this one. Look at that one. And again, look at the sky behind it. Kind of drooling over it because it looks so beautiful and peaceful out here all by itself. Just some highlights on it, some shadows, and clouds. And this is what I talk about when I just have empty sky. These clouds really add some texture and atmosphere and just something extra in the background to draw you in. So I moved a little closer to it, noticed the base, and decided it's today's tom tree. And one last stop by the pond. And what I like about this is the branches are right there to frame my shot. And look at that across the pond, what used to be the fairway and the hole. Like I said, over the years, that's going to change. That's going to look really beautiful when it's rewilded. So think about the branches coming in, think about framing your shot, think about what's reflecting in the water. If it's completely still, you may have what looks like a sheet of glass. Right now there's a little breeze to it, so you see some ripples on it. But other than that, it's picture perfect. Thanks to the efforts of the Little Traverse Conservancy, this 280-acre property is now protected from development and open to the public to enjoy. To find out more about them and their ongoing efforts, check out landtrust.org. Thanks for exploring with me. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you liked it and learned something new. If you did, consider subscribing to my channel and getting notified when a new video posts. And I hope to see you out on the trails.